here we are.
Look at that.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to our review for today. It is Wednesday, February 17th of 2021.
Indeed it is.
Remember when it's the year 2000 and that was weird? Now it's 2021.
I know. And the world didn't come to an end in 2000. So now we're able to be here. Remember Y2K? That was a thing.
Okay. So everybody, it is Chauncey, your host for our reviews, joined by chef and entrepreneur whisperer, Brandy. Brandy, how are you today?
I'm doing well, Chauncey. How are you?
Yeah, it's been 21 years since Y2K should have happened, so I'm doing well.
Happy you made it through that.
So joining us off cam as usual is the amazing EMP Drea. So if you are with us live, wherever you are where you can chat or comment, make sure that you do that. Ask questions. Watch out for what EMP Drea is saying on our behalf as well. And tell us, Brandy, if you will, as usual, what's going on with EMP membership? Why do it?
All right. So Entrepreneur Meal Plan, that's what EMP stands for. The reason that we do the EMP membership is so that we remind entrepreneurs that it's just as important to take care of themselves as it is to take care of their business. So we are a community of entrepreneurs who want to do legacy building in a healthful way, specifically using plant-based foods to power our productivity and our profits. Now, I know Chauncey likes for me to get into the tangibles and get out of all the little cutesy like brand statements and stuff. So I'm going to celebrate the fact that he made it through Y2K and get right to it. So Entrepreneur Meal Plan offers up plant-based meal plans. In addition to that, you get shopping lists and recipes. You also get a resource center, access to the replays of this live experience. You get to be a part of a community of other entrepreneurs who are interested in feeding their mind, body, and business and not burning themselves out as they do something different.
They're interested in powering productivity and profits.
Yes, with plants.
Like you said, with plants. Oh. And a plan. Well. Talking about peas, we're back to the main pea for this month. It's sweet potatoes. Ooh. Yes, we are. So today, Brandy, stuffed sweet potatoes. Now, I know about stuffed potatoes. We've seen that. Stuffed sweet potatoes, though, does that work?
It does. Really well.
Well, what are you going to stuff it with? Cheese?
It depends. Butter? So, in the Entrepreneur Meal Plan universe, we stay away from cheese and butter. So I'm going to offer up some alternatives that won't
bacon?
Let you forget, Chauncey, bacon. I mean, bacon would be great. It would be great, but we're not doing bacon today.
Oh, okay. That's normally what potatoes are stuffed with. What are you talking about?
That is true. Yeah, all kinds of good stuff. And I'm throwing in a special sweet potato. So stuffed sweet potato. So just wait.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, okay. So you are being cryptic. You won't share what you're going to do. So we're going to find out. We're going to find out what that is now as Brady changes layout. So after the break, we're going to see exactly what's going on in stuffed potatoes. I'm interested. I'll see you on the other side.
Hey guys, so I think that the sweet potato people, I don't know who they are, but they wanted to hide this little secret. So I'm going to start over. So listen, I was talking about, before you guys could not hear me, talking about how we're going to take these sweet potatoes and not only create a savory version of them, but also create a sweet dessert version of a stuffed sweet potato. So I'm starting off with the savory preparation. And right now, what I'm doing is chopping up a Brussels sprout. We all know those little baby cabbages. They're really, really nice. Just going to give us a little bit of texture. And you know that what I like to do at the EMP review is to maximize the ingredients that are in my kitchen. And I had a couple of Brussels sprouts left over, and I was like, huh, these would be kind of fun, just kind of chopped up, sauteed, and put inside of a stuffed sweet potato. So I'm going to take these and put them into the pan behind me. I'm also going to throw in a little bit of jalapeno because I love the combination of spicy and sweet. So if you don't know about jalapenos, those seeds inside of the jalapenos is what makes it really, really spicy. So if you want to limit the amount of heat that you're getting or control the amount of heat, you want to take those seeds out. If you want to maximize the amount of heat, you can keep those seeds in. So I'm just going to cut these up and then chop them into little bits just to give us a little spicy filling because we're using a red pepper in this recipe. And we know that red peppers tend to have a sweeter note that will go really nicely with the sweet potato, but give it a different texture because that roasted sweet potato that we're going to stuff is already a little soft. So I know at EMP we spend a lot of times talking about how to properly cut an onion, but today we're going to give some love to the pepper. So I want to show you a way to cut a pepper where you get maximum waste. So maximum waste, minimum waste. So a lot of times when we cut peppers this way, right? But if you take a pepper and cut off the top of the pepper, cut off the bottom of the pepper, and then cut inside of here. I'm gonna move this out the way. Cut inside of here and then cut around the skin. You actually end up getting this really easy, like out. Minimal waste because most of this stuff we don't eat, even though it can go into our broth bag if we're saving it for broth. This fun little top piece just falls out, and then you can use this and this. So it's like you have maximum pepper. And if you happen to want to cut things like in really uniform sizes, you have this perfect little full centerpiece in order to do that. So just a little pro tip on cutting peppers in a way that is more efficient and gives you maximum use of the ingredient. So just so you know. So I'm gonna cut these up, and I'm gonna cut them pretty small because I want them to cook. I want them to cook quickly, so I'm gonna cut them pretty small. And you guys know, always encourage everybody to use their lines. That's gonna be our friend in preparation of cooking. Your lines are your friend to make this process easy and fun. Because I believe, and I'm sure I'm not the only person that believes, the part of cooking that drives you the most crazy is the prep. So if you can take the work and the stress and the headache out of the prep, the whole experience is going to be that much more exciting. So, like I say, behind me, I'm just sauteing down some veggies in a pan, literally just letting them cook up. Now, while those are cooking, what I'm going to do is get going with the dessert. I know growing up, we were always told that you eat dessert second after dinner. But as adults, we can eat dessert first. And when you're having desserts like the one that we're about to have right now, I'm not even sure if it even counts as dessert. But you guys can tell me if you agree with me or not. So this stuffed sweet potato, I'm actually gonna do two versions because I feel like I'm gonna say dessert isn't something or decadent snacks that are healthy on something that we spend a lot of time on. So I just wanted to kind of really take this opportunity to maximize that with the yummy sweet potato. So right here are some sauteed apples that I made beforehand. Now with this recipe, you can opt to saute these apples, or if you're just like, I don't feel like making apples brandy, I roasted these potatoes. I want dessert. I don't have time. You can just put them in there raw. So I'm giving you both of the options. And just like how I cut the pepper with the lines, the same thing I'm doing with the apples because these are going into a sweet potato. So we want them to be relatively small, unless you just want these huge chunks. But I think the little petiteness of the apple chunks is kind of fun. It really makes you feel like you're indulging in something that's so much more decadent than it than it really is. So we're gonna go with these apples. Now, right now, I'm using a Granny Smith apple. I am a Granny Smith apple fan. Growing up, I did not believe I even liked red apples because I did not know that there were other varieties besides Red Delicious. So I would always go for the Granny Smith. Fast forward to adulthood, and I find out that there's so many other apples. I've definitely evolved my red apple library, so to say, but I'm still a fan of the good old Granny Smith. And the reason I picked the Granny Smith for this apple is because the sweet potato was roasted. So the roasting process really brings the sugars out of a particular dish. So since there's already like that high sugar note that we're going to be getting from the sweet potato, I felt like this tart apple would be a nice contrast. So that's why I decided to go with the Granny Smith. But say you had a Gala or a Fiji or a Pink Lady or any other, a golden yellow variety apple, you're more than welcome to use that. So literally, what are we doing for this one? We are going to open up this sweet potato. This sweet potato was simply roasted. Nothing, nothing fancy. Washed it off, cleaned off the outer skin, roasted it up. That's it. What I'm going to do, smash it up a little bit. Really soft and simple. This is literally the same sweet potato, not the same one, but the same method that we used to make the wraps earlier this week. So I'm gonna put a little bit of cinnamon on here to start. I'm gonna go with a mix of the cooked apples and the raw apples, just because I have both of them available. I'm gonna do some cooked. I'm gonna do some raw, so I get nice little texture in there. And these apples, I did not put anything on them, the sauteed ones, except lime juice, cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg, and a little bit of vanilla. And now as I say all these ingredients, it's funny that I said I didn't put anything on them, but that's what it is. So it's a pretty like spicy, tarty apple that we're going after, right? So now what I'm going to do to give this a little more sweetness is throw in a couple of raisins, right? Because raisins make you feel like you're having dessert even when you're not. And then I'm also going to add on some walnuts. Now you could use any nut. You could literally do this with a pecan if you had a peanut. I prefer an almond too. I prefer walnuts or pecans in this one personally. I've also made this with leftover oatmeal. So like make oatmeal during the day because I'm a big don't waste food person. So if I have oatmeal, some leftover oatmeal, I may throw that in here too, just to kind of give it a little creaminess to it. Now, say for instance, you were like, oh goodness, I don't know, any of this stuff. I'm going to give you another dessert option. Look at this. This is like Christmas in February, right? Because we are giving two dessert options at the EMP review. Because you literally can enjoy dessert, or like feel like you're having dessert, but it's not so bad. Really love the idea of showing people these different things that you can do in that way. So what I'm going to do is take some good old peanut butter. And I have just peanut butter, just natural peanut butter, oil poured off of it. If you've ever gotten natural peanut butter, you notice that oil will come to the top. Now, on a bottle, it says stirred back in. To me, that makes absolutely no sense. So what I recommend is that you just pour it off, because you really don't need it because you want to try to keep oil out. I'm going to just add some water in here. The reason I'm adding water is because I want to loosen this up a little bit to make a peanut butter sauce that we can kind of spread on this potato. So I'm going to mash it up. You'll see it kind of come together. Now, I'm using water. This works well as well with like milk. So say you had an almond milk. a soy milk, coconut milk, a cashew milk. You could totally use that to get it. A little time just to incorporate the water into the peanut butter so that I can whip it. So just kind of bear with me. The first time I remember doing this was when I was making Thai peanut butter sauce. If you've ever been to a Thai restaurant, they give you like this nice little satay with the with that dip. I remember when I was playing around with Thai food, I was like, oh, cool. This process of integrating peanut butter into water is a little bit of work, but you know, now it's thinned out a little bit. It's not as tough as it was before. And I'm gonna drop some of it onto this potato in clumps. I could add more water and make it more saucy, but I also just kind of want to have some nice little chunks of what are those things called? What is this? What are we using? Peanut butter. I'm also gonna run with a little bit of cacao. So if you like, what is that? That Reese's cups. Um, this kind of reminds us of a Reese's cup. Now this is just some cocoa powder, raw cocoa powder and peanut butter, right? Also, a couple of coconut flakes because I have some around the house. So throw some coconut flakes on there, coconut, chocolate, peanut butter, right? All that good, yummy stuff that everybody likes. And because I'm a big fan of these, I think I've showed these to you guys before, the Enjoy Life mini chocolate chips. They are dairy-free chocolate chip brand. Love them. They come in these little packs. You can have, these little packs last me like usually like three servings. They're just really good. So throw some of those in there. And now you literally have like this peanut butter, chocolate, coconut, potato, and it literally was initially just a regular old roasted sweet potato that we turned into something yummy. So that's a couple of ideas for how we can have a stuffed dessert sweet potato. Now let's get back to business, right? Playtime's over. We got to find ourselves a grown-up meal that is not full of sugary goodness. So we're gonna go back to our savory potato, right? So savory potato, same thing. Cut it open. We roasted them in advance, especially if you do batch cooking. This is great because I know for me, I will batch cook. I'm like consider myself like probably like the batch cook queen, really close up. I love just making a whole bunch of food, but I'm not someone who likes to eat the same thing over and over and over again. So what I do is use batch cooking as a way to just have a bunch of things available and then recreate them. So one of the things I made this week during my batch cooking session was some quinoa. Now quinoa is this grain. I personally feel like it's pretty flavorless until you add flavor in it. So what I would recommend, just a basic kind of quinoa recipe, is I like mushrooms, onions in the pan, right? Just mushrooms and onions, saute those down. Then put the quinoa in and use something called the peel-off method. Now the peel-off method is similar to, I don't know if you guys ever had rice roni, but rice roni, you take that rice and you toast it up a little bit. That act is called peel-offing, and you can do it to any grain. So I personally find that I like the flavor in quinoa better when I use the peel-off method. So that's what I usually do. Take some onions, some mushrooms, or whatever it is you like. Maybe it's peppers and onions if you're not a mushroom person. Put the quinoa in, let it toast for about 3 to 5 minutes, add in your spices, and then cook it down with a broth. Water works too, but broth is really, really where you get like this really nice finished quinoa. It's fluffy, it's good. I like it. It makes a really good taco meat too, like oddly enough because of the texture. You could take it and season it like tacos and like ground taco meat and then put it into a taco at some point during the week. So I'm adding a little bit of quinoa in there and the good old sauteed Brussels sprouts, red peppers, and jalapeno cooked down. I'm gonna add those on top. And I also made me a roasted red pepper sauce. Now this is literally roasted red pepper, a roasted onion, roasted garlic, put it into the blender with a little bit of lemon juice, lemon zest, and white, white wine vinegar. That's it, mixed together. Oh, and capers. So yummy. I have it available. I put it on vegetables throughout the week. And so I'm gonna finish off this stuffed, savory stuffed sweet potato with it just to give it a little sauce. And it smells so freaking good. Oh my goodness! Like this is I wish I could like share the smell with you guys. It smells so good. I love smelling it. It's the the brightness of that what is that called, the acid from the vinegar, and then everything just comes together. It just smells so good. And it might be the capers too, but I really love it. And because I've only been successful at growing scallions, I'm celebrating my success by putting scallions on almost everything because they are growing abundantly in my kitchen, and I can add some extra chlorophyll to my dish. All right, guys. So that is literally this week's stuffed sweet potato. I will be back to answer questions shortly.
All right. So sweet potatoes 3 ways.
Yes.
So everybody, as we go through some of my questions, if you have questions and comments, type them in for us and we'll get to those as well. So Brandy, you know what I was thinking? You could take all of that stuff and make sandwiches out of it. You really could.
Agreed.
Yeah.
You really can. And even sweet potato sandwiches, like people don't think about that, but a sweet potato is a great, if you slice it long ways so that it fits across the bread, sweet potato is great in a sandwich. You make a great point, Chauncey.
Mm-hmm. So just another little spin, because like Brandy said, if you get bored with eating the same thing, just make it a sandwich. You can certainly do that. So question, Brandy, why Brussels sprouts? Come on now with sweet potatoes. Was meaning like, not that I'm hating on Brussels sprouts, because if they're well prepared, I like them, but is there a certain flavor profile that you wanted?
Well, I feel like number one is a crunch factor that Brussels sprouts bring. The roasted sweet potato is soft, right? So the Brussels sprout gives us a little bit of a bite. And I feel like sauteed Brussels sprouts also have like a little bit of a sweetness. It's not super sweet. There's a little it's an earthy sweet, right? So I think it goes well with the sweet potato. So that's why I like putting sweet potatoes and Brussels sprouts together.
Interesting. What about broccoli or something like that? Would that work? I think we're losing Brandy there. Let's see. She can come back to us. Yeah, and I'm seeing some questions in there. We'll get to them when Brandy is back. Okay.
This is all Brandy.
Brandy, can you hear me?
Because I am.
Okay. So what we'll do, we'll probably go out, come back, and keep talking, everybody. So keep your questions coming. We'll be back in a moment. All right. Brandy, are you there now?
Yes, I am. Am I coming in clear?
Yeah, you are. So you were talking about, I was asking about broccoli. Could you like swap in a different kind of crunchier vegetable than the Brussels sprout? Okay, it looks like we're losing Brandy again. You know, it's the internet, everybody. So again, we'll be back once we clear this up. See you for take 3 in a moment. Okay. So, Brandy, are you here with us? Yeah, but now we can't hear you, my friend. Oh, there you go.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
They say 3 times the charm.
Yes, they do. So, let me move on from that question. Maybe the question is doing the problem. Can you hear me, Brandy? Okay, I don't think so. So that here's what we're gonna do, everybody.
This is gonna have to be edited out.
Yeah, I think we'll just call it a day for today because of some internet connection issues. But we will leave you with a look at what Brandy made. Also, keep this in mind, everybody. Always, always, always know that you can join us at EMP Review on Wednesdays. Speaking of which, next Wednesday, we will be back. So we will be back, but it's going to be a bit earlier next Wednesday. So it'll be 3 p.m. next Wednesday Eastern time. And we'll continue talking through the sweet potatoes. So we'll see you then. Thanks for joining us. And here comes that ending image. See you next time, everybody. Bye-bye.